what am I trying to say? The problems are not with the stuff that's in the post, right? The reason why this is dumb is not because of any of the stuff in the road ahead. It's all of the stuff that's already in the game that ruins Datacrons. It's conquest being gated at 4 mil. It's conquest characters, you know, it's conquest being gated at 4 mil. It's bad matchmaking. It's gambling mechanics. It's like, this is a good idea. It is not a good idea with what the game looks like right now. If they make some fundamental changes to GAC and conquest, I can see this being a fantastic idea. Right? If they change the arbitrary gate in Conquest and change the matchmaking to be less unfair to people who don't spend money, this could be an amazing thing for the game. But I don't know if they're going to do that. Yeah. I mean, like, even the stupid anecdote I gave. Where's the thing? Where's the thing that shows me? All right, even the stupid anecdote I gave about unlocking Datacrons. Here we go. The Datacrons themselves are earned primarily from Conquest. Each sector in Conquest will now have a special treasure node at the end that rewards Datacrons. Hard mode will have better Datacron rewards than normal, and the later sectors will provide better rewards than earlier sectors in both difficulties. If you give me a 3.999999999 million GP player, and you put him up against a 4.0000001 million GP player, the 4 million GP player has a massive advantage because he's getting more materials and better Datacron rewards across the entire board. There is no significant difference in these accounts whatsoever other than the arbitrary gate of 4 million GP, which Capital Games needs to completely get rid of. Because there are plenty of 2 million GP accounts that can do Hard Conquest and get way more rewards from the stuff that they can do in Hard Conquest than the stuff that they can do in normal Conquest. Those 2 million GP players can get more rewards getting 1 or 2 crates in Hard Conquest than they can red crating normal Conquest. It's such a pointless money grabbing gate. Like, I hate to go back to Diablo because I fucking started the second channel and now all that I think about is Diablo when I'm not doing SWGOH stuff, right? It's taking up too much of my time, to be honest. There's a problem in Diablo where no matter how much you... So Diablo is a grindy game. Theoretically, the more you play, the more gear, the more stuff you get, the better you are. So you're incentivized to play, or spend so you don't have to play. So you can pay to substitute the 20-hour gigablasting that you have to do in Diablo. But in Diablo Immortal, the new Diablo game, you lose experience gain and other stuff if you hit a certain point. So you can whale past this arbitrary wall that you cannot grind past. It doesn't matter if you play 20 hours, 24 hours. If you play 48 hours straight, you cannot get past this invisible wall. So that means no matter how good you are at the game, no matter how much time you are willing to commit to the game, you cannot progress past this wall until I'll leave all of the World Paragon and Diablo terms because most of you guys probably don't play, right? You can't get past this wall unless you spend. That's all that Conquest is. Conquest is an invisible wall that is only there to keep people who don't spend money back. It's the only thing that it exists for. Like, I see, like, the 1% brain functionality where they're like, we don't want players to accidentally get into a Conquest that they're not ready for, and then they don't have fun, because, like, give us a warning. Like, this is tuned for this amount of GP. You're going to get absolutely dog-watered if you go in. But most players who've played at least one Conquest know the difficulty of Conquest. The only purpose that serves is to prevent people from progressing faster without spending money. And it's the most ridiculously small, easily fixed, easily changed mechanic in the entire game, and I don't know why they haven't changed it. It honestly makes it more frustrating than anything else. And Proving Grounds made it worse, right? Proving Grounds made it worse because Proving Grounds isn't fucking Conquest. It's a catch-up mechanic. It's accelerated character farming. It's P1 of gear. The first half, let's be clear, the first half of P1, we still need the second half of P1 and P2 of gear changes, right? It's a catch-up mechanic. Because they know that if they can get you catching up and invested and getting up there, you're more likely to be engaged, you're more likely to spend more time, you're more likely to spend money. It just seems so mind-bogglingly out of touch. Like, this whole post is out of touch. This whole post is completely like we yawed and they yeeted. You know what I mean? Like, we went yaw and they went yeet. And we're just like, wait, we thought we were yawing. And they're like, well, we're yeeting. And we're like, but I want to yaw. And they're like, well, we want to yeet. Like, it's the same thing with the matchmaking. It's like, we just need a wall. I just need to not play 8 million GP players every day. Like, that's all I want. All I want is to not play 8 million GP 4 or 5 GLs. You know, they can place their third best, their tertiary squads on defense that are all R7. Like, it's just these minor, easy layups that would make this game so much better that they just refuse to do, because then you wouldn't have the incentive to spend all this goddamn money. Where's my wallet? I don't even know where my wallet is. I don't even have... I'm going to pop a 5 cum. I'm popping a 5 cum because I need... What does this give me? This gives me something. It gives me mental focus and reaction time. The Datacrons are a good idea. The Datacrons are a good idea. They're going to make GAC more interesting and more fun. The problem is they will not port well with most players. Most players will not be able to realize or participate in the good side of Datacrons. Because there are 2 people at CG. One person who came up with this idea, who's a genius, and should be amended for their game-changing and honestly great idea. And then there's the other person who rolled it out, who is like, let's take all those good ideas you have, and let's make it so that we can't do any of the good stuff. Let's take all of the parts of this that would make GAC more fun, exciting, fresh every month. Reward players for their investment. Make teams that aren't good for a certain amount of time so you can have some fun. You can enjoy it. You can make memes. Let's take all of that good stuff. And when they yaw, we're going to yeet. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. 5 cum grants 15% counter chance and 25% critical chance. Good idea, bad execution. That's what I'm saying, man. Picked a great time to join the game, LOLs. So here's the thing. Where's your name? Dumanian. There's no way I pronounce that. Mr. Sanchez. This is such a weird game. Such a weird game. So much of what they do is like, you can see the genius in it. You can see that someone at some point had a great idea. But by the time it hits the game, it's distorted in some weird, unrecognizable way. Like, there's some, God bless their soul, there's some Capital Games Penguin employee, right? He's like waddling into the office or into his computer to go to Zoom. He's like, boop, 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 boop. Hey, I have this great idea for mods. I have this great idea for relics. I have this great idea for GAC changes. I have this great idea for Datacrons. And he's like, here's my great idea. And then everyone's like, oh my god, that's such a great idea. That's such a great idea. That's such a great idea. And then there's the other guy who comes in from the side. And he's like, ha, that was such a great idea. But fuck you. We're going to make it work. Bop, 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 bop. And he's like, oh no. And then he's like, oh, he's bleeding out. He's like, oh. And he says, don't let my great idea die. And then the other penguin goes, yeah, too bad. I can make a bunch of money. Bop, 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 bop. And that's how I used a penguin and a broken airsoft pistol to demonstrate why Datacrons suck. Like and subscribe. We're trying to get 20,000 subscribers by the end of Jumbo PP June. If you subscribe, your PP will get bigger. If you like, it will do absolutely nothing, but the number will be bigger and I will be happier. And if you comment, I will read it. And then, honestly, I will read one bad comment and then get depressed, and I won't reply to any of them because I'm sad. But subscribe.